Hi, Carol here, and a warm welcome to my craft room. Well, the World Card Making Day challenge for this card was globes. So I took out a globe die, and I thought I was going to use this tree die as well. And as I was thinking of what I was going to create, I decided to take this off and just go with the globe. And because it's a round circle, I thought, what's better than having a shaker card inside a globe? I thought that'd be amazing. And I'm going to do an Aurora Borealis sky for you today. And then I'm going to add the globe and take you through my thought process. Just going to run this through the die cutter, and then I'll be back to show you what's next. There you go. So isn't that a beautiful die? And I got this at Hobby Lobby for $4.99. That's a good deal for a die. And then you have an extra piece there that has the die that goes inside the circle right there where I'm putting this piece. And I'm going to run that through. It's just 2 die pieces for $5. I think that's fabulous. Now I'm going to take a piece of 140-pound cardstock. That's generally what I use. I get that 140 pounds cardstock at my stationery store, and it's nice and thick. So I'm cutting it down for this die. I've laid to the left hand side there, so I try not to waste too much of this paper. And I'm going to run that through the die cutting machine, and we're going to pick all of the little circles, and I think it's just circles. I don't think there's stars in this one. I have so many of those dies. I think it's only circles in this one, however. And you want to keep the little gut pieces in it for later on, and I'll show you what I do with these little circles after we start to create here. Now I take my pop can, yes, my Coca-Cola can, and I always save all the little pieces that I don't use when I die cut it, and I wanted to have an airplane. So I had a die that had all kinds of pieces, parts, for traveling in that, a car right there. But the one piece I wanted was the small airplane. It's going to be in the sky with my globe. Now, let's get out those distress inks. Just love them. Okay, so on our dotted card, we're going to start at the top, and I'm going to start with a dark blue. If my ink thing ever disappears, you'll see that. There it goes. So I start with the blue, and then I come in super dark on the top. Now generally I come in with black. So just right there, I grab some black to do just the upper portion of this Aurora Borealis sky. So you have just the corners, tad bit of the top, and then back to the corner with the black soot. And then I move in on the sides of the card for an Aurora Borealis effect. Lighten up the top portion of your card, come in dark on the sides, and then you're going to add your color, which is strange, to the sides of the card, and then move into the middle. That'll give you that Aurora Borealis effect. Now, I lived up north, and I have seen the Aurora Borealis sky many times, and it is absolutely stunning, but it is different every time you see it. I've seen it maybe 3 times in my life, and there's nothing more beautiful that will make you stand in awe of the work of God than looking at Aurora Borealis or a rainbow for me. It just brings tears to my eyes. It's such a blessing to see what God has created. And so I thought I'm going to try and mimic an Aurora Borealis sky. So I remember seeing some green waves across the sky. They kind of shoot across from one end to the other, Aurora Borealis. So that's why I'm putting the colors, and I'm not working down, I'm working in to the card so that I can get some different colors. Here I'm using the picked raspberry, and I am going to add some orange because it really is unique. And then I take some red and I just pounce it in on the orange marmalade there, a little bit of red. I come in on the other side, and you'll see it doesn't look like much now, but when you pull this all together and you let it have time to sit, you will see with the end result here, it is just a beautiful sky. I go back right over top with direct to paper in the blue. And I like to do this direct to paper because it gives you that vivid, stark color. And that's what I'm trying to achieve here. Then I'm going to take the applicator and I'm going to come back in with the black soot. And I'm going to come in on the sides, as you can see here, so that I can transition that brighter color into the dark color like I'm doing here. And truly, when I get finished, I'm really satisfied with it. There's no set way to create an Aurora Borealis because they're all different. They're all different colors, different movement, and whatever you're satisfied when you look at your card like this. I'm doing direct to paper again, and I want this to be a deep night sky with peaks of color coming through, and I'm really happy with it right here. So I decided to stop right at that spot. Now, because we're going to make a shaker card, we're going to need to take the round piece and cut it out of this dotted piece of paper here. So you decide where you want to put your globe or whatever you're using on your Aurora Borealis background, and set it there. I'm going to cut out this round part that has the earth kind of in there. I'm going to set that aside, take it out of the die here. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, you could use just that and forget about this white piece of the globe and just use it as a planet. So many things you can do with this $5 die. It's amazing. So I cut that out, and I'm going to set it right there. And then we're going to move on, and hopefully, as I'm looking at it like you're looking at it, I'm going to see what we're going to do. Yes, I think it's taking this piece, and I'm trying to decide what color I want my globe. And I decide on gold. So I'm going to take my Versamark, and I'm going to do some fun parts with that, because it has the little circles in it as well, right? Because we use the circle die. So when I cut it out of the circle die, I'm left with a circle with little dots in it. So now I take the globe, I press it into my Versamark, and I get out the gold color I want to achieve. It's a wow gold powder, detailed, so it's nice and fine. Gives you an even coat, which I like, and you can coat it 2, 3, 4 times, and you get a different look every time you coat it on top of each other, which is nice as well. And yeah, could I get any more of that powder in that coffee filter? There you go. I take it out, and that gives me, a really nice gold surface. So I will heat set that right on my mat, and then we'll move forward to do a shaker card. Not only is this good to do, to have it embossed, it helps it to have stability to be able to make that shaker card. After I get that set, I'm going to move on to this little piece. I turn the piece over, and now I'm taking those circle guts that you see that we saved on the side, and I'm putting them back into the globe section because I want to be able to color those in a gold, right, to match the round outer globe part. So I put them all in, and then I took some of my liquid Versamark. I love the liquid Versamark. Has so many possibilities. If you can find this, pick it up. It is the little bottle's worth every penny. And I just took my micro brush and I added some of the liquid Versamark into the round circle holes that I created and filled with the dots back up. And then inside the globe, I'm also going to have gold dots along with that will match the card, actually. That was my thought. And yeah, zoom out there. And then I'm going to take it and pounce the whole thing in the Versamark, and I'm going to put clear embossing powder on it so that it just stands out. But not only that, when I put my little star shaker bits in there, the Versamark is going to help it to slide and have movement when you shake the card easier, because it has that shiny surface of the embossing powder on there, the clear. And you'll see the difference when we just set it here. It's just wonderful to watch, isn't it? As you'll see, I left some of the dots white and some of the dots I did with the gold embossing powder. So you're going to get more of the white showing through, so that it just pops off the page when I put the panel back in. I tried to line up the colors as best I could. And then I take some Scotch tape and then I'll tape the back so it stays in place. And we're on our way to making a shaker card. I love these shakers because they're quick and easy, really. And they just add an element to a card that I think everybody likes to receive, a shaker card. So I set that there, and then we're going to raise up that outer portion so that I can put a piece of acetate. So I take that aside and I cut out the acetate around it, because you're going to need to cover it. It has to be the size of the outer portion of this globe, right? So you have some space to put your acetate on there. You don't want to cut it with your die cut, because it'll flip right through there. Yeah, I probably have done that on a lot of projects and learned my lesson. You want to make sure it's on the outer edge of whatever you're doing your shaker with. Yeah, here I am trying to get the right size. And then I'm going to put some red, you know, that really thin red sticky tape. It's the smallest tape that I had to put this on with, so I thought I would use that. And we're going to place that on the other side, not on the top side, on the other side. There it is, that orange tape. And I'm going to go around. Yeah, it's not it's kind of a tedious little job, you know, because this tape doesn't turn nicely like your paper tape. So, but I, you know, set out a mission that I wanted to have this tape, because I knew once you stuck something on it, it was never coming off. Now the next thing is to take your double-sided tape on that big honkin' roll. You're going to cut a really thin piece, and this is easy to manipulate. You can turn it all the way around your globe, and I'm going to put that on next. And it's really nice to work with, because it does turn. The thinner you cut this double-sided tape, the easier it is to manipulate. Even if you have a big piece, cut it thin. If it's circular, put 2 of them on, because you'll be able to turn them quite easily, and that's really nice. Then I took off the tape and I'm adding 1 more on top, so it's a 2-layer shaker. Generally you have to do that because your pieces parts that you put inside will not shake. And then I like to add a little bit of baby powder in the center, and so that it's the sticky stuff doesn't hold down all of my pieces parts that I put in there. So just take a little bit of baby powder, sprinkle it, then swish it to the edges, and then take a baby wipe to wipe your acetate, and that way all of your pieces parts will shake nicely and it won't stick to your double-sided tape. So here I'm putting in these are all gold, actually these are copper, like a gold copper, just a nice color. And then I put them down on the piece that's on the cardstock, and then I apply, and look at that. Look how they move so nicely. And stars. You get the circles in the background, you get the stars inside your shaker, and now I'm taking the Stampin' Up! Silver sparkly paper so that, oh, excuse me, there are stars. Look at that. Okay, now I have to change my plan. Yeah, I did. I thought it was stars and circles at the beginning. Yes, but from far away it just looked like circles. But anyway, it isn't. It's stars and circles. So I guess that's why when I did the when I put the gut pieces in, I did the circles white and the stars I embossed with gold embossing powder with that liquid Versamark. So let's change it up, and now that I can see close up, that's what happens when you get old. Your sight is the first thing to go, I guess. That and your hearing, so I hear. Anywho, what did I say? Memory too. Yeah, so let's move on. I put the orange sticky tape, but I only put that as a base because when you use sparkle paper, this glitter paper, you will realize it does not want to stick to anything. So if you put that orange down first, that orange tape, I'm telling you it sticks to everything. And then put your double-sided tape on that. You're not going to ever worry about this coming apart when you give it to somebody. It will stay on the glitter paper. Phew, now that we have all that settled, look at that. Then you put it on and you can see all of this silver sparkle in the background of your Aurora Borealis. And the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to put some of this pink, it's not embossing powder, it's that fluffy stuff. I can't think of the name of it. It's just pink fluffy stuff. And I'm adding it around the edges because I like the silver. Yeah, and then I think, Carol, forget it. Just shove it on there. And the glitter hangs on to this puffy stuff, whatever you call it. It's that stuff you use like Flower Soft or something like that. That could be the name of it, actually. And then I put it in because the Aurora Borealis has colors going across the sky. I didn't want to have just silver. So I planted the fluff stuff inside the holes, the stars. Let's not forget there's stars and circles. See, it's hard to even realize right there, right? Yeah. And then I'm going to take some of these round glue dots that I have to put behind the plane. I want to lift the plane up, and I'm going to put that on the top of the globe, kind of circling around the world right there. And then to add to the feature, I thought I'd take out my cloud die and cut a couple of clouds. I put the one to the left flat on the cardstock, and then I raised up the other cloud in the right hand of the sky. And it just gives it that, takes your eye away from just a globe floating in space. I've never seen a globe float in space, but I thought this looked good. And I like the idea that it had stars. I didn't even think of that, but I did put stars as the shaker, and the die had stars and circles, so there you go. It worked out perfectly. Even when you don't plan it, it can work out perfectly. I take my card base. I generally build my own cards because I end up always making a card just a little bigger than an A2 size. So I put glue from my 1/2-inch glue gun. I put it on this purple. I tend to be using this a lot on skies because light mauve will pop blue up beautifully. And then I want to raise this up, so I'm taking my roll of double-sided tape. Doesn't this roll seem to last forever? I'm telling you, I know it's coming down because, look, it's about halfway there, but it seems to never move. But I do have 1.5 inch, and I do have a roll in 1 inch. So if you're looking, you can always remember it comes in two sizes, 1/2 inch and 1 inch in that Scotch roll. So here I put down the black. So it's got the black cardstock on the bottom, and then it has the purpley, and then I raise it up on the star cardstock. Now I'm making my own card base because it was bigger because I added more panels on the back. So I had to make my own, and all you do is measure out what you need to have, add a 1/4 inch to the top, score it, fold it, add a 1/4 inch double-sided tape, and you have yourself your own card base. Easy peasy. And I put the fold to the back of the card all the time so that you don't see that crease going across there when you put your panel on. That always helps. Now I'm going to take that off. I'm going to add another little piece on the bottom just because I didn't add the right size, so I had to add 2 little pieces. I take that off, and I will set this butt it right up like this. Yeah, pounce it down, grab the fold, there you go. Generally I take my bone folder and I make the crease nice and flat and cut off any excess of the glue if you have any sticking out. And then I'm going to add some double-sided tape, put my card down, and there you have it. This is 1-inch double-sided tape. I just love it. Look at the size of that roll. It's great. And I take the back of that off, and we're going to have ourselves a really nice Aurora Borealis globe card for World Card Making Day. I set that on to have the background so that the black kind of pops off the white. The purple accents the front of the Aurora Borealis card. And looky there, shaker card, globe. That's exactly what the challenge was, a globe. And I put it out there in space. Now I wanted to ground my globe. I didn't want the globe just floating out there, so I thought I would take some baby powder. I put it onto this piece of 40-pound vellum, and I stamped adventure with my Versamark, and then I'm going to use silver. Silver is what we have in the background of the card, so I thought that would be nice. It's not really popping right off because my focal point is the globe, not the sentiment. So I put it in silver, I'm cutting it off, and I'm going to align it just under the base of the globe, right there. And I mean, what an adventure to see an Aurora Borealis. And if you ever saw a globe floating in the sky, that would be an adventure. Now I'm going to add the glue dots just under the letters. That's all you're going to need. It will stay on there. And the letters are thick enough that you can fold the glue dots over, and you have your base so that your globe is not floating in space. It has somewhere to rest. And then I'm going to add the little wee stars that are gold embossed that got cut out of that round earth piece there, and I'm going to add them to the front of the card right here. On each side we're going to have little teensy little stars. Yes, detail. It's all about the detail. You add those small details. I'm using my little micro brush, and I put my liquid Tombow Mono Multi glue there on the mat, and then I'll add all these little stars, a couple of little white circles to just, separate it, and we're finished the Globe Challenge card. Thank you as always for joining me. I certainly enjoy doing videos and doing this card for you. You have yourself a blessed day, and I will see you on the next project. And give this Aurora Borealis night sky a try. It is very easy peasy, and I think you'll really like it. So we shall see you on the next video as I continue to put these little dots on there. Take care, everybody.